Create a textured, cobbled surface with cobblestone glaze. Cobblestone glaze is available in two colors, black and white. Cobblestone glaze is non-toxic and lead-free. You'll find the AP seal on the jar label, which indicates non-toxic. Even though cobblestone glaze is considered food safe by regulatory determination, it is Mayco's philosophy that it may not be suitable for dinnerware due to the fired surface characteristics, which can make it difficult to properly clean. It is not considered dinnerware safe. To change the color of white cobblestone glaze, merely apply one coat of stroke and coat over the cobblestone to change the look. Black cobblestone can be beautiful by itself in design work. This is a stunning example of all the various ways that you can use cobblestone in design work. Since cobblestone glaze is not considered dinnerware safe, the cobblestone was applied to the rim or the non-food surface area of this plate. You can see by the following examples, cobblestone adds an interesting textured appeal to all kinds of design work. Notice the difference in the application on the mushroom tops for different breakup. Adding a little bit of cobblestone to this dragon is a great scaly look. And you can also combine cobblestone glaze with crystal glazes, or why not use them with elements glazes? Cobblestone glazes work well with so many glazes, but there is one exception. Black cobblestone glaze will not break up over a matte glaze. Cobblestone white will work, and if you want to change it to another color, then apply one coat of stroke and coat over the white cobblestone over the matte glaze. But again, it's just the black cobblestone that will not break up over a matte glaze. Cobblestone glaze was designed to mature at cone 0506, but as you can see, it does do a great job at cone 6, but it does flatten out a bit. Let's look at cobblestone fired at cone 10. At mid-range and high fire, you can apply cobblestone directly on surfaces without another glaze. It will bead up instead of flattening out. Experiment and try cobblestone from 06 all the way up to 10. Let's learn proper cobblestone glaze application by creating these beautiful mugs by John Grosbeck. The first step is to base coat with foundations black, as cobblestone glaze must be applied over a glaze or it will pop off. Then you're going to trace on the pattern and outline with AC302 wax resist to create a black shadow when fired. Ready to create? I'm going to pour some out. Cobblestone comes in two colors, black and white. I'm using white because that way we can put stroke and coat over it and change it to any color I want. I'm going to use the script liner. This is one of my favorite brushes once you get the hang of it. It is awesome. The reason I like to use it is because it has all of these long natural hair bristles. The long bristles are meant to hold a lot of glaze so that you can lay down a smooth coat. Since it is natural hair bristle, I primed my brush with some water, got the excess water off. I'm going to load my brush up nice and thick and in. It almost looks like an Elmer's glue. What I want to do is lay down my brush and pull it towards me and not mess with it too much. Now, once I hit the wax, I'm going to do this on purpose. I'm going to put some glaze over the wax. Can you see how that repels and comes off of there? It just pulls back. That's the wax resist doing its job. Now, this is the hardest part. Everybody wants to put down the perfect coat, and it's a little difficult. So try not to go back over it and over it and over it and just work it to death. Just do your best you can on getting a good even coat down. I would not say that was a good even coat there. Let's do another one. We don't have to do all three. But again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down, try to get a decent coat. The more opaque your layer is, the better. Because cobblestone is just a two-coat glaze. It's a specialty glaze because it does special stuff. Cobblestone glaze is formulated to crack up and make a random pattern. So most of the glazes, or really every glaze but this one,
the engineers make sure that the glaze and the clay bodies all fire together at the same rate. I thought it was fascinating. Cobblestone is developed so that it doesn't fit the clay body, and that's what gives it this cobbled break-up look. I want to set this under the fan but for a short period of time while I'm talking. So that's how we get all the breakup in bits and pieces, is it doesn't fit in the firing. You know, in the firing process, everything is expanding and contracting. When then this contracts, the glaze intentionally breaks up to give you that, you know, cobblestone pattern. I thought that was kind of interesting that they intentionally made it not do what most glazes are supposed to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply 2 coats of the cobblestone glaze. What you want to do is let the shine go away of the first coat. Here's a good example of why you'd want to try to apply it as evenly as possible. This area right here is so much thinner than right here. This area is going to dry quicker than here. Cobblestone will start doing what it's supposed to do, which is breaking up when it dries. That's why I said I'm going to put it under a fan, but for just a short period of time. I don't want it drying too much. So if you can apply it evenly, like this side is a little bit better, we're going to wait until the shine is off of the glaze. People are putting this on, you want it to be opaque. So my next coat will actually, I'm going to start my brush here where it's thinner because you know when it's fully loaded to begin with, it's heavier. And this is going to help me balance out my coats. So where it's real thin, I'll lay my brush down and I'm getting a nice, more even coverage this time than I did the first time. Okay. Okay, that is much better than what I did on my first application. I'm laying it down. I hope you can see I'm barely putting any pressure on my brush because it is so fully loaded. I want to lay down an even application, as few brush strokes as possible. This area really is still thinner. Oh, there we go. Again, to me it just kind of looks like we're spreading Elmer's glue on, but trust me, we're not. There was a lot more going on in this clay. So I'm just going to do those 2. Okay, so I'm going to set this down for a minute because I want the shine to go away, not completely dry. Once the shine is off of this, we're going to apply 1 coat of stroke and coat over the top of the cobblestone. That's what's going to give me this random breakup. And what I really like about this is you cannot mess up the design. Trust me, if anybody could do it, I can. But it's worked out really nicely because your coats don't have to be really even. They don't have to be equal because it breaks up and it's going to show that base color. Now, the other thing I need to make sure that I tell you is cobblestone has to go on top of another glaze. If I put this cobblestone directly on bare bisque, it's going to pop off. It will not stick to it, okay? That's just the nature of the glaze. It has to go on top of another glaze. So that's why we base coat this. See how most of the shine is off of it, where it's the glossiest, like right in here, is because it's a little bit thicker. But I don't have to have this dry, and you don't want it bone dry. If you do that, what is going to happen is it's going to start doing its job. It's going to start crackling and it's going to start flaking off. So you don't want to let it get too dry. So what I did here is we have hot tamale, we have sun-kissed. I actually picked up the speckled sun-kissed because I wanted to add a little extra something to my design. Sour apple and orange peel. I actually even have more glaze than I really need on here. It requires very little color to go over this design. Here, I'm just going to take any of these colors and I'm just going to apply 1 coat. You can switch over if it's easier for you to use a pointed round also. Notice I'm laying it down a little bit. I'm just applying a coat. I'm going to grab another color. Notice I didn't even clean my brush off because I want blending. I want different colors in here. I want a little bit more yellow right there. I'll come back and add a little bit of red. Now, my anal retentive type A people are having a stroke right now because I'm not cleaning my brush and I'm blending them in really sloppy. It's okay. It's okay. Just breathe deep. Because again, don't forget, when it breaks up, you're not even going to know that I painted it that way, which I think is a very fun aspect of this whole project. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to stay within the, over just the white. That's also another reason why a nice big black area with the wax is a good idea, because it helps you stay within the lines. For those of you that like to stay within the lines. Okay. So we're just putting one coat of stroke and coat over the waxed area only. You can go a little slower than I am so that you can really make it nice and perfect. But don't forget, you don't want to go so slow that it starts cobblestoning while it's in your hand. All right, so I did this tile to give you some examples of the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of people say, ooh, I really like it when it's itty-bitty breakup, and they only apply one thin coat, or they'll put two really thin coats on there. See, right here and right here, it didn't break up at all. This spot right here isn't so bad, probably because they did like what I did, is where it's thicker right there and thinner on the other areas. But you can see it barely does its job. It hardly cobbles at all. Here, I intentionally put 3 heavy coats. And you know, everybody glazes differently. Some people, 2 heavy coats is the same as 3 thin coats. You just kind of have to learn the touch. But what you don't want, and what you can see is, can you guys see how it's curling up and it has sharp edges? Like this one right here especially has popped up off of here. That's over application. This is under application. And as Goldilocks would say, this is just right. Here's another example of under applied cobblestone glaze onto the rim of a plate. Another one that is under applied. It just doesn't do its job. And by this example, you can see this was way over applied and started breaking up before fired.